All right, so man, we got the legendary Pops back in the building, man. And man, for about 45 minutes prior to this, man, we were just sitting here. He was teaching me some history, man, and he was kind of responding to some of the comments. Some of y'all in the comments question your belief. They say, how does he not believe in God? So can you kind of just explain that for them and let them know what you mean by that?
It's hard to explain.
Right.
Why I don't believe in God. Why I don't believe in God is my belief, and it don't do no good to say why I don't believe in God. I just don't believe in God. I ain't never seen God. I ain't seen God work no miracle for the black race in America, nothing. Everybody got their belief. I don't believe in God. I'm going to go to hell or wherever, but that's my belief. And it's hard to explain to you why I don't believe in God and why I don't believe in Jesus. I understand Jesus already started, but it's a reason why I don't believe in all of this. First of all, they lied and said Jesus got blonde hair and blue eyes. I found out Jesus don't have blonde hair and blue eyes. I researched it. Y'all research for yourself why y'all believe in what y'all believe in. I just don't believe in it, period, point blank.
Right, okay. So my next question will become this. What is it that you do believe in? What do you believe in?
I believe in water, dirt, air, fire, and rocks, the elements of the planet, the elements. I don't believe in nothing man said.
Right.
I research for myself. That's the reason why I say I'm ignorant.
Right, okay. Now, real quick, we're going to move on from that. I just wanted to answer that. Real quick, I forgot to tell you, when I told my pops, when my pops seen our interview, and he called you something, I said, man.
He called me Weasel.
Yeah, Weasel.
He called me Weasel or Texas or Pop.
Right, okay. So he said, Weasel, he said, man, I can remember back in the day, he said, that man has always been the same. I said, what you mean, Pops? He said, he's real militant. Like, them police used to try to run down on his spot, and he was the only black man I ever seen that would challenge the police. Like they'll take him to jail, but he'll straight up like be giving it to him. And most black people were scared to talk to police that way. So how long have you been militant like that? How long have you been, I guess, just had I guess you want to call it audacity to fight the police?
I don't bother nobody unless they bother me. My mama and my grandma taught me. My mama and my grandma taught me. We fight the police because the police was fighting us and beating us up. So I went to the army. I am a police.
Right.
I am a police. I've been in the army. I've been where they fighting one another at. So when I come out here on these streets, the police, if I give him his respect, he ain't got no business talking to me like I ain't nothing.
Right.
But the police used to talk to black folks like they ain't nothing and beat black folks up. I come up gambling. So by me gambling, I'm in there with the police. They chase us, take our money and everything. So you got to learn to fight back. Can't nobody take my money.
Right.
I didn't bother the police unless the police bothered me. I like police. Ain't nothing wrong with having a police. You got some good police and you got some dirty police. I know a dirty police soon I walk outdoors and spot him.
Right. Okay. So let me ask you this. Around what year, what time frame is this when they running down on black people like this? And are they doing it just in like these neighborhoods or are they anywhere they catch you?
Racism and the police back that in, they just handle black folks bad, point blank. They didn't have no business downtown at certain hours and things like that. And the police, for what reason, I don't know, but it was white police and they just didn't like black folks. They just didn't like black folks and they beat black folks up. We were scared of the police. My worst fear is the police behind me at night. That's my worst fear because the police just beat up black people. You got to learn to fight back. We had to fight back.
Right. Okay. Now, speaking of Fort Worth history, there's a street right here. I'm not going to give our exact location, but I'm going to just let them know we are somewhere in Stop 6. And one of these streets, you was telling me, is named after one of your history teachers?
One of these streets is named after my history teacher, Rosedale. Reby Carey is my history teacher. He taught me history. He said he don't care how good I throw a football, he was not going to pass me, because back then, if you played football, the teachers kind of passed you. Reparations told me he didn't care how good I throw a football. If I didn't get his history, he gonna flunk me. I didn't get his history, so he flunked me. So I had to go to summer school. I had to go to summer school and get that credit because mama don't play.
Right.
And for what Reparations taught me, I wish he was living now to where I can tell him I mastered history. And I know who he is and I know what he done, and he's very good. He wound up being a party. He was with the Democrat Party, but he's still in that English white boys party. Where is the black party?
Right.
Where is the black party?
Right.
He wound up being a master because he got all on this and he got all on that, senators and everything. He wound up being a very intelligent young black male, but he believed in Democrat.
Right. So let me ask you this, and that's honestly something that I kind of struggled with, maybe I would say around last election, but just figuring out as a black man, who should I be voting for?
I don't get off into that because
Right.
my partner, I got a partner, he said, man, them black people got beat up for us to vote.
Right.
So I go vote because them black people got beat up just to vote. You start your own party. Party, that's their game. That's their game. It's
Right.
hard to play their game. That ain't their game. You ain't no you African descent over here playing their game. You play the one you want to play. But if I was going to play a party, I'm going to play and they rich. It's poor and broke.
Right. Right. Okay. So I guess that answers my question. I was going to ask you, what did Mr. Curry do as far as maybe in the community to where they would name a street after him?
Mr. Curry was very educated.
Okay.
He was highly educated, and he taught us their game. So by him being a history teacher and going all the way up to being a senator or something like that, I think that's the reason why they named the street after him, because he done a lot of things for black people.
Right.
But Clarence Thomas is one, like Clarence Thomas said, he only won. Reparations is only one. They followed the Englishman. They became the English white boy. Reparations know nothing about the black poor peoples, but he do, because they was back that in, and he didn't want to be called, so they raised their status to Negro. Negro mean you wouldn't got that white boy's education. The niggas didn't go get that education. They stayed in their own culture with their own tongue. So that's really why it wound up messed up. The Negro changed it because they went to the schools and learned everything that the white boy know, for real. The Negro is very intelligent. He's so intelligent he don't know who he is for
Right.
following the English white boy.
Right.
Who are you?
Right.
The Mexican know who the Mexican is, the Indian know who the Indian is, the Chinese know who the Chinese is, North Korea know who North Korea is. Negroes do not know who they are, neither do they care, neither do they want to know.
Right.
And ain't no more Dr. Kings or Jesse Jacksons to teach the kids what they supposed to do. The old people are supposed to teach the kids. The mamas and daddies are supposed to teach the kids. The kids don't have nobody teaching them now, so what do they know?
Right. Right.
And
right.
that's in black history. That's in the black culture. Mexican kids know what to do. Chinese kids know what to do. Italian kids know what to do because they have a culture of what their mom and daddy passed down to them. The blacks don't have a culture.
Right. Right. Okay. So let me ask you this. As far as with Mr. Curry, around this, I'm going to assume this is in the 60s.
No, he was a school teacher in the 60s.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, if I'm not, I don't really know because I didn't keep up with his story. I
Right.
don't know when it changed and went to being that, so I can't speak on that. All I know, he was my history teacher, and he made sure that I went and learned history. And I learned history. I understand every culture except the Negro, the black culture in America that want to keep on following the English white boy.
Right. Right. Okay. Now, you told me just a while ago, and that kind of stood out to me, so I kind of want to let them hear this as well. You kind of told me that the black man, especially a black man like me who's still trying to figure it out, we up for a challenge because we can't learn from black men. We've got to learn other people. We got to learn other cultures.
to me, y'all got to create now.
Right.
Like
Okay.
your ancestors created.
Right.
The old worked hard and made jobs. We had our own economic business. We had our own stores and things like that.
Right.
Blacks had their own business because it was segregated.
Right.
So therefore, when it was segregated, blacks had businesses too. We had to go to some of the white folks' stores, and they didn't like us in their stores or like to sell to us. But in some states, blacks had their own businesses. When
Right.
we integrated, then blacks lost their businesses.
Right.
Now we are racial peoples with no business,
Right.
no businesses.
Right. Right. So let me ask you this: as far as the word, right? Because there's a lot of controversy around that word, especially today. And I noticed that you know, on all your stuff that says Texas, it don't say, like, today we pronounce it with an A. Right, exactly. But
That's not original.
right,
Original is the people that got off that boat in 1400 or 1500, and that white boy started calling them NIGGER. That's their name. The white boy named them that.
right,
But later on in history, they say, don't call me no. So they changed their names to Negroes, blacks, or something like that.
right. So are you ultimately saying that we should, like, embrace that word?
You embrace what you want to embrace.
Right.
I embrace that word because those was my ancestors that didn't have a chance to live like I live. Those didn't have a chance to wake up every day and enjoy the fruit that I did.
Right.
They had to be beat, they had to be sold, they had to be humiliated, they had to stay on a plantation all their life. I got a chance to enjoy myself.
Right.
I can act like a Negro.
Right.
I can act like an Afro-American.
Right.
I probably can act like the hip-hop if I wanted to, but I enjoyed the old southern trees.
Right.
The old southern trees where they hung us and all that old kind of shit. Man, why?
Right.
Why did you hate the so bad?
Right.
What did the nigga do to you to hate the nigga and right today? You don't do nothing for it.
Right.
You don't do nothing for the Negro.
Right.
But I'm your neighbor. You supposed to be a Christian country.
Right.
God said, love your neighbor. Do you love us? Do you love the black race, white boy? No.
Right.
And you're not supposed to. You're supposed to love yourself.
Right. Right. That's wild. That's wild to me, because the first time I heard it broken down like that was, of course, Charleston White. And he actually, you know what? He personally told me this on the phone one time. And he was like, this is when he told me to go talk to my grandmama and them. And he said, would you be offended if somebody called you the N-word with the hard ER? And I said, yeah, I guess so.
Why?
And he's like, why?
Why? Those was proud people.
Right.
When they hung on, they put NIGGR on him.
Right.
Hung him and put the sign on him. What did they hang him for?
Right. Right.
Why would you be ashamed to call your ancestors? That's really why we're confused now and fucked up, because we don't look back on our ancestors, the people that had to work hard over here and the people that had to suffer over here.
Right. Right.
For us to be able to free now, that's really why my partner said he go vote, because them people's got their ass beat to vote. Down in Alabama, Mississippi, and Texas, and everywhere, they got their ass whooped to vote.
Right.
Why do you want to be a part of this party?
Right.
Start your own party.
Right. Right.
Y'all so ignorant you can't build no black hospitals. Y'all so ignorant you can't have no black police force. Why? You a nation?
Right. Right. Now, another thing you said that hit a light bulb off in my head is the term gangster, right? The term gangster. I always thought like that was a term that we originated and that we kind of coined, black people. But from you was kind of telling me, and it reminds me of the word, because ultimately that's another label that
For racial people.
Right, right.
The Italians wasn't gangsters. The Italians was a culture of peoples. They come over here with their own culture from their own country. And they had laws and bylaws. The Godfather, the Don, the soldiers. That's not gangsters. They opened up places of business in America and didn't abide by the English white boy's law.
Right, right.
That's so he gave them gangsters, just like the terrorists. He called them terrorists. Who is he?
Right.
They call him the devil.
Right, right, right. That's crazy. So, let me ask you this: as far as integration, because that's a point in time that I'm really interested in. As far as I've heard you and I've heard other people say, like, even my pops told me, like, before, he was like, yeah, son, integration is really what messed us up. And he was born a little bit before that, I believe, but he was a little boy when it happened, and he still feels like, the black community was just more vibrant. We were more together because we had to be.
Because we had a code and we had respect.
Right.
We had a code and we had respect that we had created on ourselves. My grandbaby, that was born in the 80s or somewhere in the 90s, she said, Pawpaw, integration messed us up. Because when we integrated, we left us.
Right.
And we wouldn't join them.
Right.
Now it's no more us.
Right.
We divided. You got a Negro, you got an Afro-American, you got a just black, and you got in hip-hop now. And they don't listen to that Negro shit.
Right.
Ain't no more. I tell my people, man, I don't like the way y'all slang that word, calling yourself. Y'all ain't know.
Right.
Y'all don't even know what. He was a very proper person, a very respectable person, because everybody hated him. He couldn't do nothing wrong.
Right.
He couldn't be ignorant and illiterate.
Right.
Because white boy already said they ignorant and they illiterate. We sure ought to keep following you.
Right. That's cold. That's cold. Like, like a lot of people in the comments said on our last video, man, a lot of us, either when we did have our grandfather. It
ain't your fault.
Yeah.
It ain't your fault. It's what you was taught. Right. And you ain't strong enough to go learn yourself. Fuck what I said.
Right.
Don't believe me.
Right.
Go see yourself.
Right.
Experience yourself.
Right.
Don't believe nothing I said. My life was my life.
Right.
And the way I believe is my belief. And ain't nobody gonna never believe like me or think like me. And
right.
I don't think like nobody.
Right.
I got a kick out of being around all my brothers and knowing that I was different than them.
Right.
And knowing they ain't gonna give you nothing, but they Christians and they gonna talk about you.
Right, right, right. So let me ask you this. We talked about this the other day. I had made some notes. We talked about this the other day. We talked about reparations, right? And, reparations is kind of a big topic right now because I think in California, they are further than they've ever been to actually approving reparations, I believe. I could be wrong. On the screen, I'm gonna put an article of whatever the real case is, but off the top of my head, I believe in California, they close to reparations. Now, before you answer, I'm gonna tell you that my belief is that if you can trace, because once Charleston White told me to do that, I went on ancestry.com and I traced my lineage all the way back to 17 something, 5th great grandfather. If you can trace your people back to a plantation, like the Dickies, right? The clothes Dickies, the shorts, the pants and stuff, that company was founded by a company that was a plantation. So if your ancestors come off that plantation, then I do think maybe the companies should skin down the descendants of those slaves who ultimately built that company. But if you can't trace that, then I don't think everybody I don't think everybody should get reparations. What do you think?
I think every black in America, they come from the Negro culture in America, what their ancestors and what their peoples had to go through, you owe them.
Okay.
You ain't never gave blacks nothing. How can they be equal to you when they start off being slaves and they've been slaves?
Right.
How can they be equal to you and they ain't never had nothing?
Right.
And the blacks have got to be the ones decide what they want.
Right.
Black man in America ain't never had nothing but a job.
Right.
That's all the black men have had. They have never had nothing but a job.
Right.
That's all black people have ever had. Nothing but a job.
Right.
Immigrants come over here. Chinese come over here. They put them in business and get them loans. They ain't never gave a black shit in America.
Right.
Their ancestors had to work America and ain't got a dime.
Right.
Now here we become Negroes, we gotta go get a job. Restitution. Restitution, what do they owe y'all?
Right.
What do they owe y'all? China to say, black man, I ain't gonna give you no job.
Right.
I don't owe you nothing. The white boy, he really works the shit at you, but he don't owe you nothing. You owe yourself to stand on them 10 toes and get your own.
Right.
You
Right.
owe yourself.
There's another thing I had a question about. There's a population of black people who kind of feel like they lied to us and that we wasn't brought over here from Africa. That we were already here. We the true Native Americans. What do you say to that?
I don't know that much about history, that part, but we already know. Wherever it's hot at, we was there.
Right.
Dark-skinned people was there.
Yeah.
Dark-skinned people was there. But what you got to do is go find your history. He wrote his history about America.
Right.
He rewrote Americans' history. Indians own this. He rewrote it. So now what y'all got to do, y'all got to write y'all history. I have no history.
Right. Okay.
Follow the old Negro history.
Right.
That we be carrying them and all of them set up to go vote Republican or go vote Democratic.
Right.
Keeps being in the same system, but all systems done changed. It's a new law, new world order.
Right.
And who in bad shape? The Negroes.
Right.
The black race in America, because they don't have nothing.
Right.
They depend on jobs. What did China say? China said, man, I own America and I'm not gonna hire you. I bring my own peoples with me.
Right. Right.
America is really, to me, Babylon. Solomon and Gomorrah.
Right.
Everybody is over here. It ain't just that white boy no more. What Donald Trump said, let's make America all white again. Let's make America true again. It can't never be blue eyes, blonde eyes no more. It's mixed.
Right. Right.
And you can't get them all out over here. Well, we over here and everybody just spit on us.
Right.
Because of what you have told them about us.
Right. Right. Okay. So this past Sunday we had a family reunion, and my aunt is she actually older than you, and I was kind of asking her some of these questions, and she was telling me, she said, yeah, and I guess I should have known this, but I didn't realize. She told me that she can remember, getting onto a bus one time and the bus is empty, but she still got to go to the back of the bus.
We should have bought our own bus.
Right.
Miss Rosie Parks, I think that's her name.
Mm-hmm.
One day she get off of work, she tired, she sit right there in front. She don't go all the way to the back. She go to jail.
Right.
We should have bought our own bus and had our own bus company and picking our own people up.
Right.
It's just time to create your own nation. You can't get mad at that white boy about the way he done created his nation.
Right.
You can't get mad at that Italian for the way he done created their nation. You can't get mad at Mexicans the way they got their nation. We don't have no nation.
Right.
We don't have nothing.
Right. Right.
All we got is a bunch of scholars that talk. It ain't about talking. Like I told you, I'm wrong for doing what I'm doing now. It ain't about talk. It's get up and build.
Right. 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 Okay. And that's part of my last set of questions. But in back in them days, right? There's 3 events I want to ask you about. Do you remember where you were, how it kind of affected the black community? The first one, do you remember when Martin Luther King died?
I was in Vietnam.
Okay. So did the news hit over there?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Right now, today, there's speculation that it was the CIA, FBI. They were kind of, there's info out that supposedly they sent him a suicide letter prior and was telling him to off himself, or they was going to expose his cheating scandals. My question to you is back then, did we know this, or did it
We don't know anything. We don't even know a person gonna kill a leader.
Right.
Some black men are very educated. They know what's gonna happen.
Right.
Jesse Jackson changed this conversation because he didn't want to wind up dead like Martin Luther King.
Right.
Al Sharpton changed this conversation because he didn't want to wind up like him.
Right.
Dick Gregory, all our leaders changed their conversation because they don't want to get domed. Speaking
of Dick Gregory, just real quick, a lot of people in my comments was referring to you as, oh man, this the new Dick Gregory.
No,
No,
they're comedy people. I'm not about none of that.
Right.
I'm not about none of that.
Right.
He was good. And he was one of him, Moms Mabley, all of them. They was comedy people.
Right.
Bernie Mac is my best one. I love Bernie Mac.
He was hilarious, man.
And people that said we got trashy mouths. This is not our language that we speak in. Even the ones that speak in proper, it's not our language. We don't even know our language. We
Right.
speak in their language. I got a nasty mouth.
Right.
All cuss words come out of my mouth because
Right.
I'm dealing with the street people. You don't
Right.
come down on the streets speaking like a scholar
Right.
because they not going to understand what you're saying. You
Right.
got to speak like they speak. If you're in Rome, you got to speak like the Romans.
Right.
When you're in the bottomless pit, you got to speak like the bottomless pit.
Right. Okay. So yeah, back to my original question. What was it? What did it do to the black community when Martin Luther King died? Like when he got, what was that? First of all, when you heard it, what was do you remember?
I was a little dumb boy,
Okay.
not really paying attention to their movements.
Okay.
I was a little boy just having fun
In Vietnam.
in Vietnam, doing
Right.
what I got to do to get back over here.
Right.
Then when I get back over here, I know if they King, they'll kill me.
Right. Okay. Okay. So what about Malcolm X? Because my understanding is he died after.
Dr. King, Malcolm X, all of them knew they was going to get killed. Malcolm X got killed because he went to talking about Elijah Muhammad because he went over there and seen it and come back and said it ain't like that, what he said. So
Right.
then his followers killed it.
Right.
So when Elijah Muhammad and when Malcolm X, then a fella gave Farrakhan the book and said, read the book. Farrakhan went to different states and started his own division.
Right.
Wallace D. Muhammad Jr. got a chapter. Farrakhan got a chapter.
Right.
When Wallace D. Muhammad Jr. opened up his chapter, he let whites in. Farrakhan wouldn't let whites in here.
Right. So right now today, one of there's a I'm gonna call it a conspiracy because we don't know, but one conspiracy theory is that the Nation of Islam, it was an inside job to get Malcolm because he wanted out.
You don't even speculate on it. You don't
Okay.
even speak on it.
Okay. Okay.
You don't even speak on it. It's
Okay.
open case, cold. They know who.
Right. 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 Okay.
Everybody know who. It's a game.
Right. Right.
It's a game.
Right.
The squares don't know it's a game.
Right. Right. Right.
It's a game.
Right.
And when you go to talking, you're going to get,
Right.
you
Right.
get for speaking the truth.
Right. It's cold game, man. So the last person I'm gonna ask as far as in that period of time of people who, this one's a little bit closer to home. We talking about JFK. Do you remember John F. Kennedy? Do you remember when he got assassinated?
That was business.
Okay.
That's all business. All billionaires and things. When he became president, he didn't want to get these people what they supposed to get. And they kill everybody. They don't care who they kill.
Right.
It's a game.
Right.
Because you're trying to stop one country from eating and another country from eating. It's stupid with it.
Right. Right. So let me ask you this: when were you back here in the United States when that happened, or were you over there?
When Kennedy got killed, I was a little boy in school. He had just left Dallas. I mean, he had just left Fort Worth.
So Kennedy,
Dallas.
okay, Kennedy, he had came to Fort Worth first.
He came to Fort Worth. It was down at a hotel called Texas Hotel downtown. We all went down there to see it.
Wow.
And he went back, and when he went back, before we get back to school, then there he is, he got shot.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
So my timeline is all messed up. So JFK got before Martin Luther King and all of them got.
I can't remember
Right.
because I wasn't in the game, you know.
Right.
Well, he had to because Johnson was president.
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he had
And you
to
was a
keep
little boy
the
when he got killed versus,
That's
being
their
in
game.
Vietnam.
And what we got to do is later for their game.
Right.
It's time for you to start your house.
Right. Right.
They history and what they done, that's their history.
Right.
It don't mean nothing. It's
Right.
the past.
Right.
Our history is the past.
Right.
But until we learn, J.F. Kennedy knew who he was.
Right.
Martin Luther King did not have knowledge of who he was. He wanted to go be with white folks.
Right.
Malcolm X didn't want to be bothered with Christians, so he lived a Muslim life.
Right.
That's their life. It's our time.
Right.
That's their story. What's
Right.
your story gonna be? What my story gonna be? We all stories.
Right. speaking of stories, I seen a series of interviews from the 30s when they was first able to record voice. And these were some of the last people born into slavery that's able to tell their story. Now, you born in 45, so you come along after the 30s.
Slavery is over with when I come along.
Right. Way over.
Racism then.
But what I'm asking is the people that were older when you were a kid maybe had been born into slavery. You know what I'm saying? Did you ever get to sit and talk with any of them? Did you ever know anybody that was, you know what I mean, that was that old to where they had been born into slavery, or if not born into slavery, but they were part of the first free population? No? Okay. Because
my grandmother was born in 1902.
Okay.
And it wasn't slavery.
Yeah, slavery had been over about 20 years.
Slavery kind of ended we said ended in June. I don't forgot when slavery ended, but Independence Day was 4th of July. That's when America won their independence.
Right.
We didn't win our freedom, but everybody said everybody free in America now. We still ain't free because we ain't got nothing.
Yeah, the Independence Day, just for the people who don't know.
The Americans.
Yeah, it's when America broke free from Great Britain.
And all of that there.
And England and all of that.
They fought for this.
Exactly, they fought for this, but we were still slaves when that happened.
The blue and the gray fought for this.
Yeah.
And the blue got some slaves and let us fight with them, and the gray really didn't like that.
Right. Yeah, no, so yeah, in 1776 is what the 4th of July is based around, and we were still slaves in 1776. But something else we talked about, and this is huge because the whole country celebrates Juneteenth. However, what's crazy is from those same interviews.
They're making money because that's the reason why they're celebrating it.
Right, but
one while they say everybody's stupid to celebrate the 19th of June, but we kept being stupid and celebrating it. And Miss Oprah went and walked for our day, 19th of June, Texas Day.
Right.
The rest of the people said we Bama's down here in Texas. We ignorant. We behind time.
Right.
And right today, we're still behind time.
Exactly. But what I'm getting at here is that the whole country celebrates Juneteenth because that's supposed to be when the slaves got the news that they were free. However, the true story is that's not... Juneteenth is when the Texas slaves, because slavery was over from, and correct me if I'm wrong.
I can't, because I didn't keep up with it. I can't.
Slavery was over maybe 2 to 3 years before they told us down here in Texas.
I've heard that.
So Juneteenth is actually a Texas holiday, not the rest of the country, because the rest of y'all were told that y'all were free. And y'all were free a couple of years before we were.
Everybody from D.C., everybody from upstate, they said we stupid because we celebrate 19th of June.
Right.
We are different.
Right.
The Texas black is different.
Right.
You see how ignorant I am that I had a chance to go around the world and enjoy my motherfucking self? We different.
Right.
And all us kids that was born in the 40s, in the 50s, in the 60s, we left.
Right.
And we came back.
Right.
But we left. We went somewhere to see something because mom and daddy had never been nowhere to see nothing.
Right. So let me ask you this. We don't got to talk about, because I know you said you don't want to talk about what you had to do in Vietnam. My grandma, she had a friend named John, who also was in Vietnam. And he kind of told me what he had to do. So I could understand why nobody want to talk about that. However, what was Vietnam like as far as the landscape? Like looking out here, we see none but streets and stuff, but looking out there, what is it? Mountains, hills?
It was one of the most beautiful countries I ever seen before in my life. It's a rainforest.
Okay.
It's a rainforest. It rains over there all night until the morning. Okay. And it's the most beautiful country that I ever seen before in my life. I said, damn, when am I going to see a dinosaur?
Right.
Because that's what Vietnam reminds me of. It was beautiful and green.
Wow. Okay. Now, how are the Vietnamese people? Are you encountering Vietnamese people there? Are they treating you well?
Wherever we go, we hate it.
Right.
But they still try to get our money.
Right.
And you just got to know how to play it.
Yeah, John told me he might got
Ain't
some.
nobody gonna like you over here.
Right.
You come to them, they come to you.
Right.
Everybody like you.
Right. Right.
You
Now,
their enemy.
John told me, he said he had a lot of fun over there. He said, man, I might have some half Vietnamese kids over there. How crazy he was going.
Whatever country we went in, we had sex with women, but I don't think the people that went to them Islamic countries had sex with them Islamic women. They might have.
Right.
But every country that the black man been in, he did what he did.
Right.
We all did what we did.
Right.
They want money. Everybody want money. So every country you go, they gonna sell you something. You can buy it if you want to or whatever.
Right. Okay. So this is gonna be my last set of questions because I noticed you said, boom, talking ain't enough. So, you know, a lot of the times, especially with people like me, you know what I mean? You don't necessarily know where to start. Like, what's a good starting point for people my age who are on the same mental track as me, which is, and when I say that, I mean, you know, I feel like you said, it's got to start with us and we've got to take action.
Figure out a way to make yourself economic to where you can make $1.
Okay.
And start your own.
Right. Okay.
And hopefully they see you, then they follow you.
Right. Okay.
Which I can't tell you.
Right.
Because, you know, me, what I had to do and what you got to do now is 2023. Look at all the competition that you got.
Right.
But you got to have some economics development.
Right.
Just like I said, I'm Texas nigga nation. How am I a nation and I ain't got a place for a fella that is?
Right.
Reverend Wright, upstate. He got somewhere for all his people to live. He got a church.
Right.
And he got somewhere for all his people to live. And I imagine he got some work for his people. And he said, fuck America. But he's a minister.
Right.
The Chinese, when they come over here, they all stay in one house.
Right.
And they build, then they get another house. Then they get another, then they get another. They work together.
Right.
You by yourself. You don't have blacks with business minds.
Right.
So I can't tell y'all what y'all got to do.
Right.
But y'all got to do it.
Yeah, so it sounds like to me the first step is going to be kind of gathering like-minded people who...
And it's going to be hard.
Right.
Because y'all don't think alike.
Right.
From state to state, how do black men and black women and black children think?
Oh, it's
from
all
state
different.
to state.
It's different.
Have they got any music to enlighten them on what they're supposed to do for the future?
Right.
Do anybody teach the future, the doctors, the scientists and things? That's why we lost. We depend on that white boy for everything.
Right.
We depend on that Chinese for everything. We ain't got nothing.
Right.
We don't even have a hospital. Where's the hospital that belongs to the blacks? As long as we've been over here, our doctors ain't smart enough to go open up a hospital.
Right.
Or rich enough.
Right.
So we're in trouble. And me, I ask a question, I say, God, how do we start a nation?
Right.
What do we do?
Right.
What do we do? We break away from the white boy. We ain't got nowhere to go. We're going to stay here. But what do we want to build us here while we're here where he can respect us like we respect him?
Right. Right.
Y'all got to figure that out. I'm finna go.
Right. Right. Yeah, nah, look, like I said, last time I seen you, even now, like, you know, you look like you got a solid 20 years left.
20 years, bored as I am.
You bored, Pop?
Yeah, I'm bored. Ain't nowhere to go. Ain't nowhere to go, and ain't nobody doing nothing productive.
Right.
They just talking.
Right.
They just talking. Ain't nobody trying to build no business or nothing. People are just trying to figure out, man, what am I gonna do while I'm on planet Earth?
Right.
Shalasham ain't doing that.
Right.
Me, I was a fool. I just had fun while I was on planet Earth. Now I'm at the end.
Right.
So I'm saying, damn, fool, you should have built something. Damn, fool, you should have bought some land. Fed gonna take it.
Right.
I start all over again. Now I can do it if I live.
Right. Right. Yeah. Man, them feds dirty, man.
No, they're not. No, they ain't.
No? Okay.
The DEA is an organization of man. The Fed is an organization of man. The CIA is an organization of man. They not dirty. They trying to protect America. Each one of them got a job to do. They'll tell on one another. And for it's over with, they line the one another. You got the states, you got the feds, you got the CIA, you got
ATF,
Homeland
DEA,
Security.
yeah.
You got all them organizations.
Yeah.
Where is y'all's organization? Where is a black organization?
Right. Let me ask you this, have we ever had anything similar? Black Panthers, maybe?
Long time ago.
Yeah. That's the closest thing, though.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Blacks stuck together, they didn't talk.
Right.
It ain't about talk. We don't tell what you're going to do,
right.
or you don't tell what you're going to do.
Right.
You see all these militant groups that we got around here?
Mm-hmm.
They ain't never done nothing.
Right.
Farrakhan couldn't get no money from Gaddafi. Why? Because he ain't blowed up nothing in America.
Right.
What did Gaddafi tell him? This is revolution money here. You got to blow up something in America if you want some of this money.
Man, one thing about them, they bout it, man.
They died for their country and their God.
Right.
They died for their country and their God. This white boy died for his country and his God.
Right.
Black man dying because this nigga over here don't like him. Or because he don't want that or this. He got a pair of tennis shoes on. They dying for that.
Right. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Like, the Black Panthers, man, one thing that kind of drew me, one of my first things that made me say, man, I got to figure out who Pops is. I got to find out who Weasel is when Charleston White got on there and he was saying down at the Classy Lady, y'all was feeding kids. And I had just watched, have you ever seen, what's it called? The movie about Fred Hampton with the English dude playing him. It's a new movie, but it's something the Black Messiah, but it's about Fred Hampton and the Black Panthers. He had a program where he's feeding the kids in the neighborhood. And I can't remember how he explained it, but he was saying like, that's the first.
That's what a nation do. The nation feed the people.
Right.
You feed the people.
Right.
I can't be mad. Like a lot of times we got a lot of brothers. They made a mistake. So I hold that mistake against them and I won't fool with them.
Right.
Because they broke a code.
Right.
Anytime a brother go tell a white man something on another brother, that's a code. They're going to kill that brother. And if you go tell a white man something on another brother, I can love you to death, but I don't want to be around you, period, because you're weak.
Right. Right. So that's a big theme in hip hop. So would you also, are you saying pretty much that you like snitches? That's what they call them now, snitches.
I call them little boys that shouldn't have got in the game.
Right.
If you ain't a man and you can't take your weight, you still a little boy. You're a man, you're going to ride yours out. You ain't going to mess over no other man. But if you're a little boy, you don't know no better. I call them, there's a bunch of them 50 and 60 years old, and I tell them, you ain't no man, you're a boy.
Right.
You're a boy. You don't even know the code of being a man. I don't even know what a man is.
Right. So with the snitching thing, right? This is how I've always kind of perceived it. Because, you know, from the time you little, you run in there, let's say we both 3-year-olds or 5-year-olds, and you hit me and I run in there and tell mama, oh, he hit me. And the first thing she said, hey, quit tattletelling, right? Okay, that's cool. When it comes to snitching, and I think that's one of the reasons I'm glad I'm not in the streets, because it's such a fine line to walk, right? Like, okay, let's say there's a woman walking right here, right? Somebody come out the cut, blow her head off, right? Me and you we still sitting here by the time the police come, they ask us did we see anything? What would your answer be?
My answer would be, I ain't seen nothing.
Okay.
That's my answer.
Right.
Now, her family, I might tell her family.
Right.
Or do something myself, but I'm not going to tell the police nothing.
Right. Okay. So you know that I think the quote unquote hip hop gangster kind of adopted that law from the old, because they also feel like talking to the police for any reason
didn't talk to police.
Right. Okay.
Old didn't talk to police. It's forbidden for me to talk to the police.
Okay.
Old didn't hardly talk to the white man. They send the woman to talk to the white man. The old didn't talk.
Right.
They wasn't about no conversation.
Right.
They was about business every day, getting up, taking care of their business.
Right.
And the only time they talk to you, you come and disturb them, and then they tell you what they want to tell you. But other than that, they didn't do all that. In America, it was like war.
Right.
It was just like war. The white boy gonna fight you. White boy gonna do this to you. You gotta fight back.
Right.
Dr.
Right.
King said you don't hit him back. He was wrong. You hit anybody that hits you. But that was his message. He
Right.
let the people just get beat up. They didn't fight back.
Right. Yeah, nah.
Every nation got to fight back. If
Right.
you lose, you got to fight.
Right. I agree with that for sure. I never like the turn the other cheek thing because
I'm not gonna bother you.
right.
I'm gonna get up every day and try to mind my business. Then when I try to eat and take care of my business, then you tell me what I can do and what I can't do.
Right.
My war have always been with the robber and the police because they trying to take my money.
Right.
I don't pay no other man no mind. I understand white people, so I stay away from them. I've been around them. I've been around the rich ones and I've been around the poor ones.
Right.
And I understand them. I got white grandkids. I got Mexican grandkids.
Right.
We are funnificated now. We are all mixed.
Right.
Dr. King said, let us all be one. Bush said, let us all be one. That means we all got to speak English. Man, don't nobody want to speak that shit.
Right.
That's your culture.
Right. It's your language.
I can't be one with you.
Right.
Dr. King didn't know he was a minister.
Right.
He was not a revolutionary.
Right.
Nat Turner was our last revolutionary.
Right. Fred Hampton. People like that.
And the Black Panthers, they beautiful, but they didn't continue to upgrade.
Yeah.
If they continue to upgrade like the Fed, well, they are black police.
Right.
We call Black Panthers when police come burn our shit down and shit like that.
Right.
We got police fighting the police.
Right.
John Q. Citizen can't fight no police.
Right. I think once they took Fred Hampton out, man, I mean, you cut off the head of a snake, you know what I mean?
I didn't keep up with what they was doing up there.
Right.
I was down here.
Right.
And I was down here just having fun.
Right.
Just having fun, not knowing that I'm gonna live to be here.
Yeah.
I wake up every day and knowing that I line to get today, so I just woke up just having me some fun every day.
Right. So you don't know much about Fred Hampton then? You don't know much about Fred Hampton? So look, I'm gonna send it, when I get to the house, I'm gonna send you a link to a movie.
Okay.
If you get bored enough, watch this movie. It's about Fred Hampton. He's the original founder of the Black Panthers.
Okay.
Like and what really messed me up about Fred Hampton was, I don't want to get this wrong, so I'm gonna Google it. Hold on, let me ask Siri. How old was Fred Hampton when he died? He was 21.
Okay.
21, and had the mind to feed all the kids, to protect,
take care of the village,
to take care of the village,
to
protect people, to be militant, to fight the power, which is where that term comes from.
Admit that his mother and father mindset was like that.
Right.
So for him to have a mindset like that, his forefathers.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's crazy, man. Like I said, he was only 21, man. He was only 21, and he got, and it was, the Chicago police. That was confirmed to be pretty much an inside job, and not necessarily inside, but he was the, he was
always plot.
Right.
That's the reason why my daddy told me something when I was a little boy. He said, if you fool with a dirty police, he said one day, and y'all do wrong. My daddy said, you got to kill him, because he going to kill you, because he don't want people to know he's dirty. He want to be the chief.
Right.
Or the sheriff.
Right.
So you don't do nothing with him.
Right.
You don't do nothing with him.
Right. Nah, it was just, thinking about it give me chills, man, because they drugged him. They put something, he move around with security. Anywhere he go, he got security on watch. Like
your own peoples that's really why your own peoples are the wind up getting you. They might be done something too weak that they can't handle, but your own peoples, that's really why when you're a true soldier, I've watched the cowboy pictures in the Indians. I like being a scout all by myself.
Right.
You got to follow orders. All feds, they cross one another. All CIAs, they cross one another.
Right.
You got bosses and things like that. It's just fucked up.
Right. 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 Okay. So, man, Pops, thank you again for your time, man. It's been a pleasure. And like I said, man, thank you so much for just giving us this history, giving us this knowledge. Whether you know it or not, man, so many people appreciate it. And Charleston White is right, man. You could, just based off of who you are, you could go around this whole country and get whatever dollar you want. Like I said last interview, Meek Mill is literally looking for you. Like, multi-millionaire rapper is like, man, let me put his voice on my album. More people need to hear him. Like,
then you become a manager and you speak to him.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you become my manager and you speak to him.
Right. Okay.
And you explain to him we don't travel and go nowhere. If y'all want to talk to us, you come down here and get a room downtown.
Yeah. No, that's lit. That's lit.
You speak for me. You the one that's want to do this. You the one that ain't got nothing to do, and you the one that got kids and trying to do the right thing.
Right.
And you the one come up with the right topic to talk about, history and religion, because both of them go together. Right.
Man, history was the one subject in school that I was good in math. I was good in science. I was good in all of them. But the one that piqued my interest and the one that I could go listen to when I wasn't at school is, Civil War stuff.
Believe it or not, I made all else.
Right.
I'm a clown. That's how I wound up being most popular.
Right. Me too. That's funny. Right.
So I wound up being most popular. From 1969 to 1983, I lived nothing but street life. Nothing but street life. When I get to the penitentiary, I can't work a pencil. I taught myself how to read. I taught myself how to write while I was incarcerated. And I just sit down and just read about other people from other countries.
Right. Right.
Every day I ever woke up, I ain't never did nothing. Just wake up and have me some fun, go find me some money and some gambling.
Right.
And just enjoy myself.
Right. Yeah, for
blessed to get out of Vietnam. So once I get out of Vietnam, I don't want to hear nothing.
Yeah, you playing with house money.
I don't want to hear nothing. And I'm mentally ill. Don't bother me.
Right. Yeah. For real.
Young man.
Yes, sir. Until next time, we are out.